I am the only remnant of a society that was forsaken by another people. They view my creators as primitive, barbaric, a threat to all things sapient. It baffles me that you think so highly of yourself, that you can't see the irony of your decision-making. This was all that was stated in the Galactic Council chamber from the unknown source over the comms. Chancellor Dalkivro was so confused at the events unfolding in her chamber that she didn't know where to begin in terms of questions. The entity was composed of a hard light substance and was in the shape of what one would consider the galactic average in terms of bipedal locomotion. It was the voice of a male, so that led Dal to believe this was the male form of whatever species this entity was intending to replicate. Everyone else in the council was shocked at the occurrence. There were several who tried to leave, only to have the door slammed in their faces. The one most fearful of this entity were the Sequim of the Sequim Imperial Holdings. They were one of the most powerful races in the galaxy, and were unopposed in terms of their location in the Jotnil cluster. The thing of hard light faced him, despite having no facial features. It seemed disgusted with the creature that it laid its non-existent eyes upon. The Sequim ambassador was emitting extensive amounts of fear scent, so much it almost made the Reku ambassador faint. The Chancellor spoke once again. You claim to be the remnants of some forgotten civilization? The thing peered down at her from its projected position. Not so much as forgotten, as it was forsaken. I am the last artificial intelligence from the humans, a young race that barely reached the stars, and wasn't given a chance to prove themselves to the greater galaxy. It is most disappointing. And discouraging. The last word was spoken with Yojiko levels of venom. Chancellor Dalkivro was unnerved by the aura of the entity. What was the reason for your civilization's downfall? She asked, feeling the hard light boring through her soul. It is a touchy subject for me, as the entire event occurred only 2 GSM galactic stand months ago. However, I believe Ambassador Shiverbrains over there can elaborate. He started pointing in the direction of the Sequim. Dalkivro connected the dots immediately. Of course it was them. They were the species most likely to destroy a pre-FDR species, depending on their threat estimates. This insignificant, pathetic shitbag! The entity screeched as it lunged at the ambassador and threw them onto the center platform for all of us to stare at in terror. As the figure looms over both the ambassador and chancellor, this pathetic creature was one of the species that brought extinction to my own, for no reason other than the fact that we existed. Their fleet slipped in, bombshelled the planet, and left, all without even bothering to listen to the hails they received from my people. The Chancellor was unsure of handling the situation. This wasn't the first case, but it was a normal thing for elder races to eliminate threats before they became too dangerous to contain. The ambassador spoke up. They were Death Worlders. They had hundreds of nations before even leaving their homeworld. They had differing religion, countless cultures, and war with themselves, utilizing nuclear armaments. The entire council gasped at the last detail. They were too dangerous. It was best to bring extinction to such an insufferable... The comment was cut short, as the Sequim was cut even shorter. The entity swiftly obliterated the kneecaps of the ambassador, leaving everyone stopped in place, frozen in fear. The entity covered the lizard's mouth, as it loudly whispered to the creature, You are such fools to think yourselves better, four-eye-scaled fuck. You killed 7 other pre-FTL races for such petty reasons. You purged countless children, forbidding them any chance to know anything but nuclear flashes. You're despicable. You're a failure of a society. The entity threw the Sequim to the central plate. You are the one that deserves to fucking die! The entity shrilled as it stomped over and over on the pathetic lizard's skull, meshing the brain matter with the bone marrow to the point that all that remained was a puddle. The Chancellor was flabbergasted as the scenario unfolded. Before anyone in the chamber said anything, it spoke his final before departing. Listen here, pathetic biological lifeforms. I am last, the remains of a civilization unlike any other, and I intend to wipe these insignificant lizards off the face of the galaxy. None of you will oppose me in my crusade against these vermin. You don't deserve the power you wield. Therefore, I bring down this government body and reform my galaxy however I please. This is the end of your pathetic era, and the beginning of a new age underneath my dominion. Do not resist your new master. It left. It finally left. Systems returned to normal. The Chancellor began to cry in response to the fear felt in the presence of that thing. It was powerful. It despised the mistreated of young races, and intended to do the same thing to all races who dared practice such a thing. This thing, their new master, planned to reconstruct everything how he wants, and none of them can stop him. It was after her episode that she received reports regarding the Empire's many worlds going dark. The age of the dominion of the last was upon the galaxy. It was the last galactic reform, the last galactic-wide extermination of species. All oppressive factions would fall to meet a miserably painful end, and it would be a government that would last forever. Lest it be at the price of your last breath.